has been saying that this will not be the same. Next 1 or 2 years we are going to look at 8% GDP growth. So Japanese are flamboyant. They say that okay, India is an economy, India is a market. Now when you say that there is a change, there is not a change in mindset. They were watching, and now because of consistent interaction at the summit level, Prime Minister, 2006 up to now, so you have sustained interaction, and that gave an image that okay, India is not off the radar, they are on the radar.
All right, Ms. Roy Chaudhary.
There's another very major issue for this, the relationship not having taken off. It was the nuclear tests that we conducted in '98. I mean, obviously Japan being the only country that's ever been nuked, was very, very wary. I mean, this is something that they're emotive about. This is something that they had to wait and watch over a long time, because that's something they couldn't quite come to terms with. Once the United States and India went ahead with this civil nuclear agreement, the peaceful cooperation agreement, I think they began to get out of it in terms of, you know, not knowing how to react politically. So once that particular hurdle got crossed, the fact remained that, you know, here was this country that was registering a pretty good growth rate. Here was this country that is basically a non-proliferator.
Right.
So, you know, we can do business with them. I think that was what, you know, in consonance, all of these things began to work. Things fell into place. And China's aggression on the one side. So it was almost like a natural allying of you know, aligning of goodwill, forces, money, political strategies, you know, piracy. Both of us are huge importers of energy.
Right.
You need the sea lanes kept open. So all of these synergies essentially ensured that.
Return from this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Public Forum. We are discussing India's relations with Japan. Mr. Sharma, talking about expectations from the Prime Minister's visit, there are talks
to clinch a civil nuclear deal during this visit. It will still require considerable amount of work more on the part of the Japanese to prepare their public opinion, to take their people on board. As I was mentioning during the break, the Asahi Shimbun, a leading newspaper, the editorial yesterday was that Japan should ask India to sign NPT. So I don't think we should put too much expectation of an early breakthrough. We will have to be patient about it. Work together on things like fast breeder technology, on which they are also very, very keen. The biggest benefit of this is actually sending a message that the two countries have taken a very firm decision to accelerate the pace of cooperation and collaboration. And if that spirit percolates down to the state governments in selected areas, that will be a game changer. If we can do these 4 major projects also, that's very good. But the thing I want to, where we have not talked about much, is Japan has very high regard for India's culture and civilization. And this is a factor which we must leverage. They would be very enthusiastic and keen if we can give them enabling environment to do up the entire
verdict last November, December. And you now have a situation where a government can actually chart a course for the next few years. Mr. Abe himself is, of course, deeply committed to this factor, and he tried to say as much even back in 2006. The problem that has arisen is that I think the upper house of the Japanese parliament goes to elections in July. Once that is there, and if there are more supporters of you know, Mr. Abe's party, and you know, people filling that particular set of the House of Parliament, you're likely to have a slightly smoother passage. You know, you're gradually seeing the fact that their self-defense forces are getting a little more, what shall we say, outgoing. This was something that they had confined themselves to. Similarly, on the civil nuclear issue, India's credentials are the only thing that they are weighing in with them by and large. I mean, the Asahi is a very conservative kind of newspaper which will be portraying the vast majority of a certain section of the polity and the population, saying that we do not want to get into civil nuclear agreements with a country that has already detonated devices. So there is obviously going to be a great deal of wariness, but I believe Indian officials were actually predicting that by the end of the year we might have some kind of forward movement on that front. That's a possibility. Of course, the other major big ticket items are in the economic infrastructure front and energy. I mean, deep sea hydrates, clean energies of various kinds. These might not sound very exciting, but if they actually get around to working, clean coal and so on, it makes a huge difference in terms of the environment and sustainable development.
Absolutely.
Consequently.
The technology, when they have already come to the next stage, that is a game we will have to play carefully.
Right. Ms. Roy Chaudhary, clearly convergence there in the area of security cooperation, not just maritime security, but also on issues such as combating terrorism.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Japan has a naval base in Djibouti. I think one of the things that is being spoken of or talked of is the fact that sharing of things like naval facilities, we're talking about possibly giving them use of our facilities in the Andamans. Japan is the only country with